I'm just going to explain a little bit of the background to how we've come to create these models and the infrastructure that goes into planning and designing and then realizing the big model. So based on the beautiful design here created by Maxime, who's come up with a magical figure of Patrick Poppywopple, who is the main figure in the musical Jingah, we first of all tried to work out a scale where the puppeteer would fit inside, and of course we had to have the scale because it was for outdoors, and therefore we came up first of all with this model, which looks just at the scale of a human figure and the extended neck, which you can see here, proximate head, and how the tail section would work at the back. Initially we had thought perhaps of using stilts, bionic stilts, but on reflection we decided it would be probably unsafe because of the height and the wind factor and so on. Once having got this, we then moved on to the articulation of the puppet, and so we come to this model, which allows us to see how we could create the bird-like feet and legs, and how that movement would act for the puppeteer, how they would actually function in terms of when they move their legs up and down and back and forth. So this is actually quite a complex piece because you have articulation right down here at the ankle, and then these various joints here right up to this part at the back. The whole structure would be created in separate parts, so you would have this long neck with the head would be one, this body, the main part of the body, and the legs, and this is for transport and also for ease of putting together and working on separate elements during when things need to be adjusted. The idea here is how to create a full movement of the head, the neck, to be able to bring it down and rotate. Then also how the puppeteer could bend forward like this, or go right back and fully extend the neck. The beak itself, because the performer is going to be singing, the beak will be worked on an automatic power source. So when he sings or talks, the puppet will replicate from the beak movement. Now we are thinking of using for this, even though this is just a model, the material we're using is a really good, it's a foam and it's heat formable, it's light, it's flexible, and it can create the backpack, which is supporting all this structure, but also the elements themselves. We've introduced here a spring which allows 360 degrees movement, and the puppeteer would be seeing out between the structure, and yet part of this will be covered. So we've yet to work out how much of the puppeteer will be seen or not, or integrated into the full puppet. Okay, so if we look again at here, one of the main requests from Chloe and Duncan was that this was going to be illuminated, iridescence and glowing, and the lighting was very important since it was planned to be used at night. So looking at the lights, we went to see a colleague who specializes in lighting, that's John Varra, and he came up with ideas linked to LED lighting, which is a very popular form of lighting. It comes in long strips, and usually you have 3 different colors. You have a green, a red, and a blue, but from those you can make up a myriad array of colors. The idea here is that the strips would be embedded in the foam, so the channel would be cut out here, and a strip of the lighting would go all the way around. Initially we wanted to go vertically, but because of the movement, it was deemed quite rightly that that would perhaps cause breaks in the strip lighting. After a lot of exploration with this, John discovered a similar, it's LED lighting, but these lights have, each individual light has a microchip. And what that means is that they can be programmed, each light can be programmed individually. So if we thought of this creature, the bird, having lights in a good deal of the structure, then you would be programming several hundred at least lights, and the programming would allow you then to change the color, the mood, the effect. So you could have strobing lights, but you wouldn't see the light, you would see the pulse if you want, because the LED light in itself is very bright. However, if it's embedded in the foam, it'll make the surface glow, and it won't obstruct from viewing the creature as a whole, which it would do if there were just spots of light. Up here you can see this lighting, we came up with an idea to use, I think it was fiber optics for these here, which you can see have been they've been designed that way, and the feathers, which we again use this material. Again, it's very flexible, it can be carved. We would insert fiber optics into the feathers, small and large. Now we also, so basically those are the elements. However, if the puppet was going to be used during the day, the lighting would be lost a good deal. So our colleague Giulietta Rubio, who works with fabrics, came up with some ideas based on shibori, which is a Japanese technique, using material and creating this, which is then memorized by the fabric. And this could be like a sleeve that would be, the actual surface would be covered with this, but this could be extended in many ways. And the beauty of this material and the effects that could be created are unlimited in a way. All this is using the same techniques, but the movement would allow a different effect to be seen on the bird, which the lighting, if it was at night, you probably wouldn't use this. But these are all elements to explore. Here's another effect. And the great thing is the elasticity, which is essential in a creature, a puppet that's going to be moving around so much. So that's an ongoing source of exploration. And we've also just been upscaling a little bit. So here you have an example of this, a little part of this. We've changed the spring that's inside there for a different type of tubing, aluminium, very light. And the idea, again, is that you have complete movement. Obviously, upscaling will be bring in its other challenges. And finally, there was this proposal that the love interest, which is Rosie, would perhaps at some stage be seated on Patrick Poppywopple's back. If we do that, we'd be to see a colleague, Mike Patterson, who works with big structures, and he is suggesting that if we use part of this type of model and this one, we could actually have some wheels, that if a human figure was sitting here on a saddle type, concealed with the feathers, that the weight could be taken down here, maybe on 2 or 4 wheels, but would not be visible with all the decorations, but would then support and avoid the puppeteer going too far back. So again, that's something that we're looking at currently. So that's where we are. It's been absolutely fascinating. It's a challenge because you can see from the scale that with feathers and all, probably Patrick might reach up to 4 meters. And we have to see where we go with this, and we just can't wait to blow this creature up to a big scale. It's been a pleasure working on it, and we're looking forward to the next stage.